Welcome to Salt Pig. Lukas and I are two cookbook writers who love to chat about the ups and downs of real home kitchen life. And what are we talking about this week?
Today, this is something of a dishwasher episode, and so we're talking about our opinions when it comes to the dishwasher. We have some floating objects in your chicken stock, and we're throwing some plant-based proteins into the waffle iron.
Ooh, you can find new and old episodes wherever you listen to podcasts, and check us out on Substack too at saltpig.substack.com. All right, let's get started. I have a horrific story to tell you.
Okay, I'm excited for this.
Okay, so everyone in my house has been sort of sick for the last couple weeks, and I was asking the kids and Tom what might make them feel better, what I could cook to make them feel better. And Henry was like, "Oh, can you make me this soup that I've made him before? That's like a sausage bean soup." And I was like, "Great, no problem. Make some beans, get some bean broth, that whole thing that I always make, like chorizo and kale and beans and bean broth. It's pretty straightforward."
Okay, yeah.
But Tom was like, "Oh, what sounds good to me?" Separate conversation. Tom was like, "Oh, some chicken broth sounds really good to me." And I was like, "Great."
Just
fine.
like a cup of chicken broth?
Well, like a chicken broth soup of some sort.
Okay, sort of like
but
a
I
chicken
was
soup.
I was like, "Oh, okay, so I'll make some chicken broth." And I was like, so I went to the grocery store and I was like, I'm going to actually really throw myself into this instead of just the old carcass and some water and calling it a day. I'm going to there was these chicken thighs on sale. And I was like, great, this family pack of chicken thighs, probably 10 chicken thighs. I was like, I'm going to really make an effort here and make some very special chicken broth. So I brought them home, I put them in a pot, I put water. Then as I was making Henry's bean and sausage soup and cutting up celery and carrots and onions and stuff, I was like, "Oh, I'll put in the bottom of the celery and I'll put in some carrots and I'll cut up an onion." And I was then I had also bought all these other ingredients. So I was like, the kale stems from the kale that I was putting into Henry's soup, I'll put those in my chicken broth. And this cabbage core, I can cut that out and throw it in my chicken broth. And so I was like, this is going to be some really rockin' broth. So I cooked, and meanwhile, I'm majorly multitasking because I'm making the soup number one, then I'm making the broth. I'm talking
literally
on the phone.
2 pots on the stove.
I have 2 pots on the stove. I was like, no problem. I can handle this. So I make the sausage soup. Everything's great. And then I have leftover chopped up onions, carrots, and celery to add to my eventual chicken soup that I'm making for Tom. And at that point, my chicken broth had been simmering for an hour or maybe even less. So the chicken was done. So I was like, I'm going to pull all the chicken thighs out, pick all the chicken meat off of them, put the bones back in, keep cooking it. I was doing all the tricks. So I did that. Then it cooked for another hour. And then I was doing this sort of final big stir. It was in my enormous Le Creuset. And there had been so much stuff in it. And I had been so distracted. I hadn't really given it a really big stir, I guess, this whole time. And then this very troubling piece of yellow, what looks like paper, sort of floats to the top. And I was like, what the heck is that? And at first I thought it was a piece of chicken skin. It was not a piece of chicken skin. I eventually realized it was one of those disgusting absorbent pads from underneath the chicken.
Oh, God.
And it had just been simmering away for hours with all this stuff. And it took me a solid 5 minutes, just by myself, to be this chicken broth is done. There's no way anyone can eat this chicken broth and the chicken. But I was
oh, really?
I mean, then I did this quick Google search. I was like, maybe that absorbent pad is made out of cornstarch or something. Maybe because people do that all the time, maybe it won't be a problem. It's not made of cornstarch, it turns out, according to the internet. There's not a lot of information on the internet about what those are made of, but it's not.
It's
food.
like a bandage.
It's like a diaper. I mean, it's the worst possible. So I was like, I guess that this huge pot.
No.
It was probably I don't know. It was a lot of chicken broth, and it was so many chicken thighs, and so I just dumped it all, and it was so sad.
That's horrible.
I know. I know. Talk about food waste. I was
Did
like
you even
devastated.
try a taste?
I didn't
That's
actually. I
the
mean,
freak.
it's funny because
Yeah.
I was so distracted. I was just like, it really kind of grossed me out. I mean, and it's my own fault for just like, I like sliding the whole chicken in the pot without like,
Yeah.
using like just handling them. I just sort of thought I could just like
Yeah, we don't want to touch.
throw them all
Yeah.
in.
Oh God, that's so. I mean, have you ever done the thing where you're like straining the broth and then you end up pouring it all down the sink?
You're like
I've done that.
struggled. Have you really? Oh,
Yeah, you take your
oh,
mesh strainer and set it in the sink, and then you're like, okay, let's strain the broth.
let's dump it all. Let's pour it all down the drain. All that work.
Oh,
Oh, that's
it's
terrible.
just like the most demoralizing thing ever.
Mm. Yeah,
I'm
this
really
was.
impressed though. I like that trick you mentioned in there about when you use like raw chicken rather than carcasses and then just cooking it till the chicken's done and then throwing the bones back in there. That's such a great tip because
It's
it
a
does
good.
change the flavor of the broth too.
It does
Using,
change the
yeah.
flavor of the broth, and sometimes, like, I mean, when you poach chicken, it will like make some broth, certainly, but
Yeah.
it's like it could use still a little fortifying. Like
Yeah. And just the
if it's
time.
only like 40 minutes of chicken thighs in there, it's like you could use some more time.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then
but it was
especially to like extract it all from the like bones and stuff.
totally. Yeah, I was actually going to ask you, do you ever put like, I just put a little vinegar in there, like a little white vinegar in, because I've heard that it like extracts something from the bones. But I realized as I was putting a little vinegar in there, I was like, I don't really know if that's true.
I had never heard that before.
Oh,
I've always like seasoned the broth with vinegar if I like
right,
sip on it on its own, but never
right,
as like having a purpose beyond flavor.
right.
Huh.
Interesting.
Well, that's kind of
Well,
a good. Oh God, I'm sorry. That's so. Especially it's like when it's not like the garbage type of broth that we
well, that's
typically
the
make, where you just
thing.
like empty out the freezer of all the vegetable scraps that you've been saving. When you go out and buy all the stuff and
I
use,
know. And I was like, I was really proud of myself because I was like, oh, like this cabbage. I'm not even going to use the cabbage now, but I'm going to throw the core. I'm going to like cut the core out and like put it in there. It was so dumb. So dumb. So
yeah,
anyway,
that's sad.
chicken broth.
I'm sorry about that. So we put our first episode out, and then
Yes.
we never actually explained why we're doing a podcast.
Or who
And
we are.
or who we are, or anything. We just kind of like dove straight into it. So
Yeah.
I was thinking that maybe we spend like a minute just discussing sort of the genesis of this thing.
Let's do it.
Um,
I mean, basically, I think the genesis is like we were at the Brooklyn Inn and we were like
mhm.
having some martinis and sort of being like, ha ha ha, home cooking. Isn't it fun to chit chat about like,
And
dried
we're so good
mushrooms
at
or
this. We
whatever?
have so many opinions, and
Yeah.
increasingly fired up as the martini glasses accumulated.
Totally. Totally. And we were like, maybe we should do a podcast. And then we had a bunch of other ideas that we like sort of pursued. And then we're like, let's come back to that podcast.
Yeah, and I love that. Well, and I also feel like we had. I mean, because we both work on cookbooks, we met working on a cookbook,
Yes.
and we both spent all day sort of immersed in the world of home cooking as it exists in cookbooks. And then one of the things we always talk about is like what we actually cook when we aren't working. And so it would be kind of fun to explore that in a
Yes.
podcast format and just continue these fun conversations that we have over drinks, but do it for everybody to listen into.
Totally. Totally. And we should mention like the briefest of intros. Like you are the author of how many books?
Seven cookbooks.
Yeah. It's pretty impressive.
Oh,
It's a lot
thank
of
you.
cookbooks.
I know it actually surprises me sometimes because it just feels like you publish them and then I don't know, I'm just like moving on to the next thing. So I sometimes
Right.
even forget that they exist.
Right. Well, what I find so impressive about that is like you're not those are not even counting necessarily like your collaborations and that kind of thing. Like those are just books like you pitched them, you created them, you're the author of them and they're out there in the world. They're 100% yours. It's
Yeah,
cool.
I know. I can't believe that. And then, so you're a very established, well-respected, would you call yourself like a cookbook doula? Like a,
Some people, yeah, that's a term that people use, or it's just like a collaborator, I guess. Although lately I've been like, maybe this is like dinner party conversation. I feel like people ask me what I do, and then I go on this very awkward, like 2-minute description that's not very concise. But I guess I'm just a writer. And then I happen to have sort of honed in on cookbooks specifically. So I help people usually write their first cookbooks, but then I've also done like more memoir projects or more lifestyle projects, but helping people. So I'm more on like the writing side, which is great. And then you do writing and you also do recipe development. So you have like a whole other skill set where you're like creating recipes from the ground up and using them for your own books or for other people's books. And that's how we met on a project a few years ago. And that's our story.
And now we have Salt Pig.
Yeah, now we have Salt Pig. And the topic today is dishwashers.
Yes, a favorite topic.
Yes, a favorite topic and a very important thing in the home kitchen. I've found, having not always had a dishwasher in my life, I'm really grateful for my dishwasher. And my dishwasher just finally stopped working. It had had some sort of, I know, it had some, we inherited it when we moved in and it seemed pretty old, but it seemed fine. And it wasn't anything special. And then it started, the door like goes all the way to the floor. Have you ever had a dishwasher?
Like the hinge? Yeah, I've seen that before.
So we have to like prop it up with this salt, like a canister of salt, which makes everyone crazy. And it's because the kids like jumped on it. Anyway, Tom kept being like, once that happened, Tom was like, can we just get a new dishwasher? And I was like, it's just the door and it works fine. And then it's now started to, the last time I tried to run it, it like didn't, the little pod of dishwasher stuff like didn't dissolve or something for some reason, and it just was sitting in the bottom of the dishwasher and it looked like it had been set on fire.
Oh, wow.
I know. So sometimes with like machines, I tend to be like, oh, I'll just like wait a couple days and then try again, which I tried with this, and sometimes it sort of came back. But then once I had this sort of smoky dishwasher pod, I was like, maybe time has come to
well, this presents an opportunity. I'm sure dishwashers have come a long ways since whenever that one was made.
They really seem to have come a very long way. I mean, I think I ordered one that's coming on Saturday, and it's it has a third rack, which I'm quite excited
the one
about.
Where you can sort of line up the cutlery on top.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Does yours have one of those?
Yeah. Well, I mean, similar. We both live in New York.
Yes.
For anybody who doesn't know that, but I also have had decades where I've not had a dishwasher as I've been writing cookbooks, and now I'm living in the first apartment where I've ever had a dishwasher, and it's such a game changer.
Oh,
there's like I don't think I could go without it. If mine broke, I would have to replace it immediately. It's now a non-negotiable part of my life.
Oh my God. When this broke, not only did I had a full dishwasher full of dishes that took me days to get through
to hand wash them. God.
I'd be like, I'll do another set this morning, like and scrub like another 12 dishes, and then like it was awful. It's awful. It's awful not having a dishwasher, because it basically just means your sink is constantly full of dishes.
Like, well, I'm sure with like 4 people in that. I mean, when it's just Vincent and I was able to stay on top of the hand washing, and it does like teach a valuable skill of cleaning as you go, because it becomes unwieldy so quickly.
Yes.
That did like really hardwire in me the cleaning as you go.
Yes.
But the dishwasher, I was like, when we moved in here, so we have these like some nice plates and things. Mm-hmm. And I've read and heard from people that you're like, nice like cutlery and nice plateware. It's not what's the word I'm looking for? Like
china?
Dishes. Is it china? If it's, I don't know. This is just like
that's
ceramics.
A good question. I don't know.
But you're not supposed to put it in the dishwasher. But I did anyway, because I was like, well, this has never been in a dishwasher, and it'd be nice to like have it get properly cleaned that way. And I was like shook by the way there was no longer this greasy film. It was like this. It was like. It just felt clean for the first time. I was like, there was no sheen on anything. It was like the front, the back, the edges. There were things that I thought were like permanent stains, and they were gone with like one cycle in the dishwasher.
Wow.
And so it's probably bad for some of these plates, but I'm just doing it anyway because now
I do it anyway. I mean, my favorite dishes are these. I'm super into china. Love some Spode especially. And Tom gave me these adorable Spode dishes, these like 4 shallow bowls that are called the Queen's Bird. And it has this
cool.
adorable little sort of aristocratic bird in the middle of it. And they're beautiful. And we use them all the time because they're like the only shallow bowls we have. So I feel like any like, soupy things that we eat, we use these bowls. So it's every time we run the dishwasher, those bowls are in it. And maybe it's my old shitty dishwasher, or maybe it's, I don't know, I'm using too harsh of a detergent, but they have definitely faded in the dishwasher. There's just no getting around it.
Like the design on it, or the overall color?
The design.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, what do they say is the reason for not putting nice things in the dishwasher? I've always thought it was about like all the activity will cause things to like clank around and chip and potentially break. But does the soap destroy the finishings?
I think it must be the soap. And I have to say, I don't buy like high quality dishwashing soap.
Okay.
Maybe I should. Maybe
that doesn't surprise me for some reason.
Yeah, I'm using pretty low quality stuff, and it's having an effect, and I still can't change for some reason. I'm just like, well, that's the cost of living, I guess.
This is the life I've chosen. Yeah, exactly.
But I was thinking of you as I was hand washing all these things in the last few days, because I was like, this probably would save the bowls if I just hand wash these, and I was like, but man, I hate hand washing things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like I'm not like I want to know where you are in the spectrum. I'm not like a pot and pan dishwasher person.
No, I have strong opinions about that. In fact, when Vincent loads the dishwasher, it always drives me nuts when he throws like a large pot or a large bowl in the dishwasher. I'm like, you could have 12 plates and you're choosing this one bowl.
Yeah, totally inefficient.
That
totally
drives me up the wall. But
I basically I redo when anyone else is.
Yeah, there's only one way to load a dishwasher.
And it's my way.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. I was also surprised to learn that even if you're like using the dishwasher multiple times a day, it's more efficient basically on every level than hand washing. Washing your dishes is hugely wasteful.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, I think we should look this up, but like I think it uses something like only like 3 or 4 gallons of water or something. That's totally
it reuses the same water over and over again.
Right. And it's just like blazing hot, I guess. So
okay, the thing with it being more energy efficient is that you have to use the eco setting, but that just makes it that's like a really long cycle.
Oh.
But it's also cleaner. It's better. It's more sanitary. It's like better for washing your dishes. Probably even if it's like not fully packed. Do you pack yours to the brim?
I pack it to the brim. I mean, Tom's like, so we're gonna run this tonight, and I'm like, are you crazy? We could fit like 3 more dishes in there. Like, we're not running this tonight. We're like,
but what about like needing all those dishes that are in there?
Again, it's not right. It doesn't make sense. But it's somehow who I am. I mean, we have a lot of dishes, so I guess like we're not usually running out. Sometimes we'll run out of silverware, but not that often.
Yeah, I feel like we constantly run out of like not the big spoons, but the small spoons.
Well, yeah, the small spoons
for like yogurt or whatever. Yes. Those are gone.
Those
instantly.
Are gone, like basically immediately. Yeah, and somehow we're missing a bunch of small spoons.
Yeah,
I blame the children, but I'm like,
I blame Vincent.
8 spoons. Yeah, I tend to be very like sparing in afternoon snacks. I'm like, well, you can have a spoon for your yogurt, but
yeah, totally. Or you're like, you're going to use that spoon that you're scooping the yogurt out of the tub into the bowl. You're going to use that spoon to eat the yogurt too.
Totally. But then I'm like, but don't put it back in the yogurt container. Like, tend to be really ridiculous about that. But wait, so go back. So you don't put pots and pans in there just for space issues, or also for other?
Yeah, I mean, I did right when we moved in. I was like, it's similar with the plates. I was like, okay, these have never been properly cleaned, so I'm just going to like run a cycle and put all the pots and pans in there. But then now I find it's like
impactful.
Yeah. Oh my God, it was the same thing where it's like, how does this just like my finger, there's like a little bit of resistance when I like rub my finger across the bottom or the sides or even like the bottom. It's like, this is crazy. I thought that was like patina, or I thought that was some kind of just like essence. Permanent seasoning. Yeah. And it's actually just filth that I've been cooking all my food in all this time. But I don't, so it's like the saucepans and the handle. And then I feel like that gets in the way of loading up plates or like,
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll throw a lid in there because you can slide it in
That's
nicely and stuff.
easily added. Yeah.
Yeah.
Throw the lid in there.
But in general, I just don't put big stuff in there.
No. I wonder though if I'm going to have like I feel like with this new dishwasher, I may have like a new way where I'm just like, I just run it every day and that's just how I do it. And get into a friend of mine does that. And I'm like, I see the benefit of just being like, every night I do it. We run it at night anyway. I'm like, every night I do it. Every morning I empty it. And that's just sort of how we go about the day.
Yeah. And then it sounds like you should, if the reason that you're not running it like that every day and the reason you're packing it full of dirty dishes is from some kind of efficiency standpoint.
Right.
I think that you don't have to feel guilty about that. In fact, you should feel better about, I don't know, not having to hand wash all those spoons that you have to like fish out of the dirty dishwasher or something.
No, it's true. And then maybe I'd have room to throw in like a rice pot once in a while.
Yeah, and that'd
get
be
a little
nice.
Deep clean. Because
just use the eco setting.
Yeah, I'll just use the eco setting. If I mean, my dishwasher now doesn't even have an eco setting, so I'm really excited to. Yeah, I mean, it could be like 25 years old.
Oh, wow,
it's pretty old. But I do feel I wanted to ask you about wire cutter because I feel like I'm such a slave to wire cutter. Do you use wire cutter for things?
I do. Yes.
Yeah. So I was like looking up dishwashers and I was like, obviously I'm just going to basically just do what Wirecutter tells me. But like the one that it recommended was out of stock. And I was sort of like flummoxed. I went down this rabbit hole of like reading reviews and stuff. And I was like, this is such a time suck. I just I can't do it. So I just went.
And in the end, isn't it just a dishwasher? I don't know. Is there like a lot of...
I don't know. You start reading these reviews and you're like, I guess it's very nuanced. People are like,
I've had to do never for Wirecutter, but for other publications like product reviews, and it would be like I'd be assigned things like stock pots or like a whisk or like a cutting board, and there are of course there's like certain features that are like more user friendly if you're a certain type of cook or if your priorities are one way or another. But in the end, you have to like come up with some strong stance about why some stock pot that's got an extra 1/4 inch girth on the handles or something is like better than any other stock pot. And now I kind of read, like I enjoy Wirecutter, but I find it's just like too much. It kind of like makes shopping seem a lot more complicated than it is.
That's really interesting.
It's just too much information too. It's like if I didn't have this information, I'd just go someplace here near where I live and buy a dishwasher and I'd probably be perfectly fine with it.
Well, yeah, that's the funny thing is like, I don't actually want all the opinions from Wirecutter. I just want someone to tell me what dishwasher to get because I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, in a way, I think I'd probably be more satisfied just going to like the appliance store and just being like, "What do you recommend?"
And they probably can give you a really good recommendation too. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. But I am excited that it has this third rack because I feel like it is going to kind of change everything.
Well, and what's nice about that is then you clear space on the bottom where you don't need the basket for all the cutlery.
Yeah.
So there's like 6 more plates you can squeeze in there. I mean,
maybe I take it back. I'm not running it every night. I'm going to run it like every 2 nights. Like it's going to have so much space.
It's so funny getting excited about this. The other thing about dishwashers, I just saw a TikTok where somebody deep cleaned their dishwasher. And I had been noticing on mine, so we've been here for about a year, that like, where it seals, there's like the plastic, the rubber thing that makes it like airtight, watertight.
Yeah.
And then there's an exposed piece of, like ours is stainless steel, but there's an exposed piece of metal around there. And then there's like metal in like the hinge where the door closes.
Yeah.
And that's all looking like kind of grody.
Well, yeah.
And so this TikTok was doing a deep clean of the dishwasher, and they had one of these, like all these content cleaners. They have this like, it's like a brush with a motorized head that spins. And so they're like spraying, they pull all of the racks out and they like soak them in some giant sink that they have. And then they pull out the drain filter thing at the bottom, which I also read.
I have done.
You do have to do that regularly. And that's like really, really, really grody if you don't stay on top of it.
Horrifying.
That's gross. That I knew to do. But then, so took that out, did a deep clean, and then just like sprayed this kind of like foaming cleaner over everything. And then took this brush, and then went all through those corners, all into the hinge, took the rubber sealy thingy around the dishwasher, soaked and cleaned that. And I was like, this is beautiful. Like I could totally get into deep cleaning my dishwasher.
Really?
Yeah, that made me very excited. Only because I had been noticing that there was this like buildup in that, specifically in that space, like around the hinge and around the sides. And I was like, this sounds kind of fun.
Yeah. I've done like a wipe through, but I've never used any sort of motorized scrubber. That I'm like, I don't know where these people like have the capacity for. I don't know.
I think it's a compulsion of some sort.
I think it is. But but the cleaning out the thing, the really disgusting thing, that's a necessity.
Yeah.
But that reminds me, have you ever seen the movie Rachel Getting Married?
Yes, not in a long time.
Yeah. There's this great scene in it where the dad is having like a competition with someone about like trying to fit more dishes in the dishwasher or something like that. And I just thought it was like the most charming part of a movie ever. I was like, if only someone invited me into a competition of like fitting things in the dishwasher.
Loading the dishwasher.
I was like, I crave that. I'm like,
that
if
probably exists. I bet that there are
up.
such events.
Yeah. I'd totally do that. But I did want to. So, what are you making for dinner tonight? I wanted to know.
So I have been working on some new recipes. One of which I just put out in my newsletter, but it involves sticking slabs of tofu in a waffle iron.
Yeah, I saw that. That looked amazing.
Waffled tofu. It's really good and very, very easy. It's kind of the same thing as like a panini press if you think about it. But it wouldn't have occurred to me to put tofu. Yeah, exactly. Or to put tofu into panini press. But I have all this leftover waffled tofu. So it's like you take the block of tofu and cut it into like 3 or 4 thick wedges, and then you season it with salt and pepper and whatever. I'd use some like nutritional yeast, but you could do chili powder or I don't know, any kind of like seasoning blend or just something like that. And then you sprinkle it with a starch, like cornstarch or arrowroot powder or like potato starch, I'm sure would work as well. And kind of like dredge it in that mixture. And then grease your waffle iron.
Yeah.
And
just
throw
spray.
I brushed a little bit of olive oil or avocado oil in there, and then throw it in the waffle iron and let it like press down and cook until it's like brown. And because of the starch, it gets kind of like crispy all over. Yeah. And then the waffle, which a commenter articulated this, and I was trying to understand like why it was so good and why this made such a difference. But basically, the waffle iron extends like the surface area with all the little crevices.
Totally.
So there's like more crispiness and like more of that seasoning exposed.
Such a good idea.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And so I have a ton of that left over, and I'm going to try to like revive my waffled tofu into a like snap pea tofu situation with some kind of like tahini sauce, which I have yet to figure out.
Like a stir fry kind of thing, or just mix it with a sauce kind of
I think it's just going to be, I'll definitely like stir fry the snap peas. And whenever I make those, I like drizzle on honey so that it gets like kind of glazed.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm gonna cut the tofu into little like matchsticks.
Yeah.
And like throw them in there at the end to reheat. And
so
then
good.
I think that I'll just kind of stop there. I feel like sometimes if there's too much going on in a stir fry, it's like don't really like know what to pay attention to.
Yeah.
But then I'm gonna put that over rice or maybe noodles. We'll see.
Sounds great.
Yeah. What are you fixing for dinner?
Margaret requested peanut noodles. So
yum.
So we're gonna do that.
How often do you like entertain your children's dinner requests?
Pretty often. Because I'm like, if they like what they're eating, then they'll eat it. So I'm like, all right,
okay,
I'll do that. But yeah, and peanut. Tom's out of town, so I was like, it's a good sort of solo meal for the three of us. But it's just like peanut butter, soy sauce, rice wine vinegar, sesame oil.
All to taste because you've made it so many times.
Yeah, all to taste. Though I feel like maybe I need to look into some recipes and see if anybody has any. Do you have any like interesting additions to that?
Yes, I have been working on a peanut sauce that's like half peanut butter and half miso.
Oh.
So it's all kind of the same stuff, but you just like cut the difference of the peanut butter with miso paste. And I've also done it with like cashew butter and almond butter.
Yeah, I've done it with
really
tahini, like done a half and half tahini peanut butter thing. That works well too because it has that nice texture.
Yeah.
But Oh, that's interesting. Oh, and sometimes I put in like a little maple syrup or something to sort
Yeah.
of round it out a little. But I think we'll just have that with like some tofu and broccoli
Oh,
and
okay.
noodles or something.
It's like a very virtuous weeknight dinner.
Yeah.
Both our houses.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, a tofu experience.
Yeah. Do you have a special place for your tofu, or do you just buy like the kinds in the little tubs soaked in
I
water?
just buy the kinds in the little tubs. I try to buy organic just because it
The
I guess,
soybeans.
yeah, the soybean thing. But otherwise, I'm pretty flexible. It's just like I just get like firm. Though I do want to explore some other tofu firmnesses. But
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway,
Good. All right.
well,
Well, enjoy your
cool. Thank
your
you so
tofu
much.
dinner, and I will
Yeah,
too.
you too. And we'll just talk soon.
We'll see you next time. Yeah. Anybody listening, if you have any, I don't know, thoughts on our dishwasher talk or leftovers that we used in our first episode, please drop us a line. And we're on Substack.
Yeah, saltpig.substack.com.
That's right. Saltpig.substack.com.
Cool.
Okay. Bye, Ellie.
See you next time.